Now tonight, President Trump will deliver the State of the Union address. And for more insight on what the president might say, we are joined on the phone by former Press Secretary Sean Spicer. Thanks for coming on, Sean.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Terrific. Well, tell us what you expect from the president tonight. Of course, his second State of the Union in his presidency so far.
So I met with the president and the vice president last night about the speech. I can tell you that he's definitely excited about this one. The last few that he's given, I think, by all standards in terms of the delivery, has been excellent. I expect no less tonight. I think he's going to talk about his vision for the country, this idea of American greatness, where we can go. He'll talk about what has been accomplished over the last 2 years of his presidency, both domestically and in foreign policy. I expect about somewhere close to 50% of the speech to be in the foreign policy area. But then he's going to talk about stuff from border security to healthcare costs. He'll talk about modernizing infrastructure, things like 5G and bridging the digital divide and connecting the country. But I think it's going to be a lot about what we've done, what we've accomplished, and where we can go.
Sean, we know that the speech was delayed in the end 1 week later than it would have been. What do you think is kind of the hangover, I guess, from the shutdown? Does that affect things? Does it affect the sentiment around the speech? And what might he say? Will he reference it, or we're just kind of moving on now?
I don't expect him to. I mean, look, it's obvious. It's Trump. You never know what's going to come at the end. There's always an audible. But I don't expect, him to go into detail about the shutdown. I know that he is going to spend time talking about border security, talking about the humanitarian aspects of border security and the safety aspects of border security. But I don't think he's going to dwell on a shutdown per se.
Hey, Sean, Miles Udland here. I want to ask you, alluded to it a little bit, about the tone of the speech, because I think what so many people who support the president like about the way he speaks is that it's not really scripted. Obviously, the State of the Union and some other major addresses have a more formal tone, but just like from a behind-the-scenes standpoint, when you're drafting that in the administration, how much are you taking into account the way that Trump actually speaks and the way that I think policy wonks would like any president to speak?
It's a great question. I think that what the difference with this speech is versus a lot of others is the president recognizes this is one where you've got tens of millions of people, not just here in our country, but around the world, looking for the president to sort of lay out where he wants to go. He's going to speak later in the week at the National Prayer Breakfast. And there's other opportunities going forward. So it's not the kind of speech where you get into that, level of policy detail that you might otherwise in a different venue.
Yeah, hey Sean, it's Melody here. So I know you still seem to have a deep-seated connection with Trump and the administration, given the fact that you saw him yesterday. He's telling you about the speech. What is his morale like? What is the morale in the administration like? And how involved are you on a day-to-day level?
Well, I can answer the last one first. I am not involved on a day-to-day level. I continue to be a supporter of the president, but and to the extent that I can help the big picture team advance the messaging and the agenda, I'm always there to help. I'm affiliated with America First Super PAC, and we support the president and his policies. But that's kind of the president was joking about that yesterday. He said, "Sean, you ready to come back?" And I said, "No, sir. I had my time, and I'll let Sarah." So we had a good joke about it. But the morale, the president was completely upbeat and excited. It's interesting because despite some of the headwinds that this president faced in this White House, it's rare that I ever see him completely, he always is sort of looking for the next challenge. Yesterday, he was animated, he was excited, he was ready to go. He was definitely, was excited about the prospects of the speech.
All right, good stuff. We are excited, too, to see what happens tonight. Thank you so much for joining us by phone, Sean Spicer. Appreciate it.
You bet, guys. Thank you.